of Ummul Quran Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Thank you for making the time to join our online session for the LIS Industrial Talk Series number 4. I am Dr. Nur Saada Maknur, one of the lecturers at the Department of Library Information Science, who will be moderating the session today. So the program today will be conducted in 3 parts, actually. Okay, first part will be a sharing session, and then you will be walked through a slide presentation by the speaker, and then part 2 will be questions from the moderator to the speakers session, and then the last one will be an open question and answer session with the audience. So before the session begins, I would like to make a few gentle reminders pertaining to the session. Kindly mute your microphones during the session, the sharing session. You may unmute your microphone during the Q&A session, the open Q&A session for the audience. And then if you have any questions to the speakers, kindly write them down into the chat box area. Then I will read them out during the Q&A session with the audience. And then you may find the attendance link for today's session in the chat box at the bottom of your right-hand side, or you may scan the QR code provided in the program poster being disseminated to the public. So your cooperation is highly appreciated. Thank you. All right. Greetings to the speakers, Madam Suhaila Marsidi and Sister Ani Shazwani binti Abidin, lecturers, students from Department of Library and Information Science, and then all participants in our session today. So praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We have been graced by the chance, to gather in this sharing session. So let's first introduce our respectful speakers. First, Madam Suhaila Marsidi. She is our alumni, received her MLIS degree in 2004. And then prior to her excellent qualification, she joined IIUM Library in August 2004, and she was appointed as the head of Library Technology Section, LTS, at our IIUM Darul Hikmah Library. So this year, she marked her 18 years of service at the IIUM Library, Alhamdulillah. Okay, next, Sister Ani Shazwani Abidin, our second speaker. She received her bachelor degree in Information and Management from UITM and master's degree in Knowledge Management. And then she started her career being a librarian at Lim Kok Wing University Library for 4 years. And then after that, she continued her career path and joined IIUM in 2013. Okay. So she is now the head of IT application unit at the Library Technology Section, IIUM Darul Hikmah Library. Okay, that's a very short and introduction or introducing the speakers. Okay, let's proceed with our program. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Madam Suhaila Marsidi, to begin our sharing session today. Please welcome her.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Dr. Nur Saada. Okay, please allow me to share screen. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Madam Moderator, Dr. Nur Saadah. Okay, my co-speaker today, Sister Anisha Zwani, and then all the lecturers of Department Library Science, KICT of IUM, and students of Department of Library Science, Kuliah of KICT, and all participants for today's talk series. Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and then hopefully I hope I can share some this is considered as sharing session lah from the librarian perspective, yeah. Okay, and then first of all, I would like to inform that maybe I will mix between English and Malay during the presentation and the talk series with permission from the Madam Moderator, yeah, Dr. Nasada.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so the topic we are going to discuss today is understanding library database design based on knowledge organization structure. Okay, so since we are librarian and we are not the IT person, I would like to inform that we're going to tell on the librarian perspective or not on the technical or IT perspective lah of the database designer. Okay, all right. So basically my presentation or sharing today, this morning, it contains 3 parts. Okay, basically the first part is on historical background of library management system at the Dar Al-Hikmah Library. And then the second part on the Hikmah Lib project. And then the third part is on the new Hikmah Pack, in which the focus of my sharing today is on the OPEC database, our OPEC database, all right? Okay, for the historical background, okay, so Dar Al-Hikmah Library started using the OPAC, I mean Online Public Access Catalog, since 1991. So it was by the Dobis Libis system. Yeah? Okay, in 1998, we start to install of the Horizon Library Management System. And next in 2000, the library launched the web pack, which is OPAC via the web. So before that, 2000, the OPAC is only through the intranet. Okay. Okay. In 2010, we migrated the system from Horizon to Symphony with enterprise OPEC services. Enterprise OPEC services means that the OPEC services has been expanded not only for the searching of books, but they provide the services of the patron management, and then there are extensive of services OPEC services offered through the OPEC. Okay. In 2021, the kick-off for the Hikmah Lib migration project, which is the migration from Symphony system to Koha, started. Okay, and the Hikmah Pack, which is Koha OPEC, go live in May 2022. Okay. Okay, the Hikmah Lib project overview is the project is developed in-house by the technical and functional project team members from Dar Al-Hikmah Library and ITD. Okay, and then the project started in April 2021 and the completion date was in June 2022. So the data migration took almost half a year, which is started from December 2021 until June 2022. Okay, the version that we are using now is Koha 21.05, and the system requirement So we plan the system to cater the needs of IUM staff, students, and the public. And then the access is via the intranet and also internet. And the storage it requires storage for bibliographic and patron data. And currently we have about more than 500,000 bibliographic data and more than 40,000 patron data stored in our Koha system. Okay, the operating system used is Ubuntu and on the VM server. And the database is on the MySQL with the Perl programming language. Okay, and then the special features is involve the customization of OPEC and other functionalities we adopt with the Koha is that cast login, SIP2, and also API. Okay. And then the project objective. So basically the project is to mainly to save the maintenance cost amounting to RM 190,000 each year. Since 2010, when we use the proprietary database, so we have to spend around 190,000 per year lah for the subscription. Okay, and then to minimize the project cost by adopting in-house project approach in collaboration with UTM for hands-on training on Koha, and then to provide easier access to manage the library's collection from anywhere and anytime, and to improve technical and functional skills of the library personnel in providing technical and functional support of the library system via in-house configuration, customization, and migration of data. And last but not least, to provide more flexible platforms for sharing of libraries collection with internal and external stakeholders. Okay. By migrating to Koha, some of the processes related to borrower management could be improved. For example, first, minimize borrower registration process, and then minimize handling of forgot password complaint or issues, and up-to-date borrower profile, centralized borrower authentication via centralized authentication service, and remove use of library barcode on staff and student card, and simplified processing of clearance for library patrons. Okay. Okay, so Hikmah Pack is the Dar Hikmah Library's new online public access catalog for all knowledge resources available at the library. So Hikmah Pack developed on Dar Hikmah Library Koha Integrated Library System Management, which is Hikmah Lib lah. Okay, so Koha is an open source integrated library system worldwide used by the public and school and special libraries over the world. So the Koha OPEC so the Koha OPEC template can be easily customized to meet the requirements of both the library and its patrons. So from the image showed here, that is the template for the Koha OPEC database. You can see that on the screen area is where the areas that can be customized. So so based on the guideline provided by the Koha. Okay. Okay, so the Hikmah Pack consists at least 4 of the different modules in Koha. Okay, we can consider here is the Hikmah Pack is a database consists of 4 different modules of Koha. First is Patron. The Patron module is where data of the registered library users captured or stored, and the cataloging module where the library bibliographic data are stored in MARC 21 format, And the circulation module, data of the lending library materials by the library patron were captured, and also the cost reserve module, where data on reference material is as outlined by the kuliah center or division is stored and captured. Okay. So with the combination of these 4 modules that make the Hikmah Pack service is means that complete to fulfill the needs and requirements of the library and the library patrons. Okay. Okay, global system preference control the way of Koha system works in general. The library needs to set the OPEC preferences and searching preferences to control how things appear in the OPEC. So in this, so before we make the OPEC live and usable, so the preferences as outlined by the OPEC as outlined by Koha is need to be set up first. Okay. So based on the setup on the preference, so the Hikmah pack is the appearance as you can see on the screen. So the library patrons can see the search box of the top most of the pages. Okay, and the patron can simply enter a word or multiple words in the search box, and then the Koha will crawl from the index and will perform a keyword search, okay, from across the database. So when more than one word key in, Koha will still do the keyword search, but with the Boolean operators, it will narrow the search to only record the match, to only records that match the query. Okay. From the results overview page, the patrons can see the number of hits or results based on the keyword they use to search. So from this feature, it will the patron can easily decide whether they can whether they want to proceed with the keyword with the results, or they want to revise or review the search keyword they use to get the more relevant results. By default, the search result will be sorted based on the relevancy and the system at the system preference values. Okay, and then the patron can choose another sorting method from the pull down options provided. Okay. And there are also the advanced search features provide patron closer to the information they are needed through the combination of Boolean operators. Okay. And we also manage the knowledge based on the item type, shelving location, and collection to provide a specific result to the patron. So means that if the patron want to go to a specific library collection, they can go to the advanced search where we have structured the information by the specific collection code or shelving location or item type. So this will help patron to get to more specific results they need. Okay. And faceted navigation feature also enable to support findings of information, where the patron or user can simply click on the link if they agree, if you want to go, or if they want to go in depth into the suggested or into the results appear in the facets. Okay. And the filtering option also provided where user can refine their search on the left panel provided. Okay, currently we have provide the filtering based on the availability, authors, item type, locations, places, which is geographic name headings, which captured from the geographic mark tag heading, and then the series, topic captured from the subject heading, collection which is captured from the collection codes, and then home library, holding library, whether it is from home library or holding library. Okay. Home library is where the books or the items is located, and holding library is if let's say is the books or the material is being borrowed or loaned to certain to another branch library, they will put on the holding, the holding library will be updated to that specific library branch. Okay. And by login to patron's account in the Hikmah pack, the patron could revisit the bibliographic search history and to relaunch the search by clicking on the search terms. Okay, this will help the patron to go back to what have been searched before, and then they can simply relaunch the search or can revise the search. Okay, so this will have the shortcut, and they will give the shortcut for the patron to get the relevant materials to their research. Okay. And okay, for above all, the Koha database are indexed by the Zebra open source software, and then the Zebra is run immediately after any new data key in the Koha. Okay, so every new data key in the Koha, the Zebra will run the indexing. So so means that every time the Zebra will index every keyword or data entry in the Koha. Okay. So this with the Zebra, Zebra is an open source indexing software. So it support the information retrieval protocol, Mark 29, ZAC39, and 5, and I mean all the for the indexings lah. Okay, and without the Zebra indexings, it will the searching will impossible to be done through the OPEC lah. Okay. So I think that's all from the slide presentation. So I can pass back to Dr. Nosaada. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Sohaila Marsidi, for a very comprehensive explanations and golden sharing of the IIUM experience in developing, upgrading, maintaining, and maintaining the library database management system. Okay, which is now we use Koha system. I believe each of us benefited a lot by the excellent service provided by the library since many years ago, Alhamdulillah. Okay, moving on to the next part. Now is the time to get into the second part of our session today, which is questions from moderator to the speakers. Sounds great, right? So, okay. So, are you ready, the speakers? Okay. So, a database is an organized collection of structured information or data stored electronically or digitally in a computer system. Database typically modeled in rows and columns in a series of tables to make processing of data or the process of data query efficient. So the data can then be easily accessed, managed, modified, updated, controlled, and organized. So that was a brief definition on what is database. Let's start with the first question to Sister Anis Shazwani. Okay, what is a database from the perspective of the librarian?
Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sure.
Okay, first thing first, before I answer the questions, thank you, Dr. Saada, for inviting us from the Hikmah Library to be as part of the speaker, to talk about on database things and such, where this something that relates to the departments of Library of Science from the KICT. I'm honored to be part of the speaker for today. For the as to answer your questions, I'm a bit nervous because this is my first talk actually. Okay, so just to answer your question, what is actually database from the perspective of the librarian. When we talk about database, for the library punya concept, we have two. People might thought it's about online database, where one that provide all of the resources, the ebooks, the journal thing and such. But in this particular talk, I'll say the database that we have here is actually more related to what is actually the definition said by Dr. Saudah earlier in the questions, the definitions, where yes, it is a place. I'll call it as a place for us to store of all the data that we have in the system. But for the library itself, I'll say that the database is quite organized, because library itself, we do have our special system where of all the things that we work in the library, we put it in one database. So for the library itself too, if you're asking about the library perspective, we have everything inside. So we store everything of all the data that started, because working in library, data doesn't start from just one part. We start from the very acquisition until we settle at the circulation. So of all this, I call it as the module. So of all this module that we have in a system, of all the data that we have from all of the module here, we store it inside the database. Yeah. It's a bit structured. Kalau you ask me about the perspective of database, library punya system database, I'll say that it's a bit structured compared to other database. Yeah.
Okay. So based on the definition given earlier, I think it is related to the second question, which is how could we understand the relationship between database and knowledge organization structure in a library setting? Maybe we need for the speaker to come up with one of the example, maybe.
Okay. For the question number 2, how could we understand the relationship between database in COS in the library setting? As I mentioned earlier, it actually relates to the first questions. For the library system database itself, because I'm saying this is structured, because Why? Because as far as we have a look at, maksudnya when we do the migration from the previous database, Symphony, that they're using the Oracle database to to the database Koha MariaDB that we're using currently now. When you look at the structures of the database, of all the tables and of all the tables that they have in the database itself is actually related. I mean, perhaps from the names of the table might be slightly different, but of all the data that they have inside the table two are the same. So what we do need maksudnya dalam to have this knowledge of organizational structure, saya cakap more towards based on how do we do the migration itself, okay? It is going to be something like on how are we going to understand, to map between this A and B database. So where do we going to put this particular data into which module that we need to work and such. So if you're asking me about that, again, I'm saying kalau dalam in this library database, kita have this kind of table which is structured. This table belongs to what module and such. So the database itself, insyaAllah, the migration itself ataupun the database itself, insyaAllah, it's not going to be macam caca merbah because of all the tables that we have to, dia adalah similar. So saya rasa it is more towards on how that we need to understand on reading and mapping the database into which module that we want it to be put. Macam itulah, yeah.
Okay, so it is clear about the definition of database from the librarian perspective, and how we relate or connect, okay, between knowledge organization structure in the library information science domain with the database design. Okay, so thank you, Sister Anis, for responding to the questions. Okay, and let's move to Madam Suhaila. Okay, next two questions are intended for Madam Suhaila. Okay. Okay, first, what is the process involved in designing our IUM library OPEX system? And what are among the challenges encountered throughout the process? Maybe it is more to share about the experiences by the Darul Hikmah Library.
Okay, thank you very much again, Dr. Nur Saada. Okay. Okay, what is the process? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, the first thing we have to do is to set up the preference lah for the OPEC. So we have to decide how we need or how we want the OPEC to be appear to the patron or to the library user. And then we have to also decide, okay, what kind of services that we want to offer to the user, and what kind of the okay, we first decide, or we first have to decide and then discuss and have to decide on what are the information, what kind of information, or how the information to be displayed to our patron, to our library users. Okay, so based on that series of discussion, and also decision, and not to forget that we have conducted a series of paid session with UTM library to some sort like the sharing session, and like the consultation session on what they have done in their library also, because they have also migrated from Symphony system to Koha system, which I think about 1 or 2 years earlier than us lah. So UTM is our closer example that we can learn and then learn from. So we have conducted series of sharing session with UTM. So and then at the same time we doing the configuration and customization parallelly with the session. Okay, and then we with that series of discussion and then the session with the UTM. So Alhamdulillah, finally we managed to come out with the current OPEC Hikmah Pack database. And then again, because our Hikmah Pack database is newly launched this year in May 2022. So of course there are many more features that have not yet been explored by us, because the system or the configuration and the customization is all done in-house by our manpower. And so I would say that there are still many more features that are going to be explored lah. And this relate to the challenges as questioned by Dr. Nusaada. And then the challenges, of course, the expert or the manpower, because currently we have only one IT officer and one IT librarian to study all the features of OPEC database, and also to means that to handle the maintenance of the OPEC system. So yeah, the manpower is have to be have not, I mean that cannot be absent from office. I could say that because yeah, because the support is needed 24 hours per 7 days a week lah. Okay, and Alhamdulillah, based on from the challenges also, we can see that there are opportunities also where the Koha is widely used by many public libraries and university libraries. So basically, if there is anything that we need for to solve or to study, we can easily find the reference lah. So among the challenges, I think the challenges that is the main challenge that we are facing now because of the limited manpower lah.
Okay, so I believe any organization and institutions face similar challenges, which is the limited manpower. Okay, especially in technical part. Okay, so
Yes.
so I guess this is the time or the opportunity for the students actually to really look at the in the future time, or plan their future on how to actually have those kind of skills or technical skills, okay, before they join or before they started their career journey, right? So
Yes.
okay, so I think one more question for Madam Suhaila. How do librarians deal with a situation when there is a technical issue with the OPEC system? Is there any technical training received by the staff? I mean, in terms of managing the Koha system or OPEC system? Okay.
Okay. Okay. It's also to answer this also relate to the earlier question that I have answered. Okay. For the technical training. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, we have we have conducted a series of discussion or consultation series with the UTM library, and then we considered as part of the technical training also to develop the skill and knowledge of our librarians on how to handle the KOHA and how to solve the issues related to the KOHA and also OPEX services. Okay, and then okay, so based on that, is the training session all done on our own, because mean that after the session with the UTM ended, so anything that any issues related to the KOHA system and OPEC database, we have to study on our own. And at the same time, as I mentioned earlier, because the KOHA is now widely used by the many university libraries, so we can also we have a macam nak kata, we have a group of KOHA community in Malaysia and also international. So we have registered ourselves as part of the KOHA community to make sure that we get the support or technical support from other libraries that have been facing the same issues with us. So that is one of the way how we solve the problem with the OPEC and the KOHA systems. And so far, Alhamdulillah, as we have go live since June 2022, we haven't faced any major problem with the KOHA system and OPEC services itself. And then yeah, hopefully we able to sustain and maintain the database lah. Hopefully that can answer your question, Doctor. If you need further, need further, you can ask again.
So thank you, Madam Sohaila, for responding or answering the question just now. Okay. Next we go back to Sister Anis. Okay, shall we? For the final question. This question is specially crafted to for Sister Anis. Okay. I think students need to listen carefully for this response from the speaker. So, what are the expectations for future LIS students or any KICT students or any students who will work in the library technology system department? Okay, in terms of what kind of knowledge that they need to have to equip themselves with, and then what kind of skills that they need, and any experiences needed for the students, okay, to join or to work at the library technology system unit or department. Okay, Sister Anis.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for the questions. So actually what the question is, what is actually the expectations that we need from the LIS students? For me, if you're asking of expectations, there'll be a lot of expectations since the technology goes by, right? So first thing first is actually you just need you have this willing to learn on a new thing that would be something good if you wish to work in a library, because I mean, try to get rid of the stigma where people, I mean, I receive a lot of questions since today. I mean, I also since forever when people are asking me, what am I doing in life? So I'm saying that I'm a librarian and such. So they was just like, what do you do in the library? You just go table to table and the table, or you just like do the book shelving kind of things. So this kind of stigma, I think we need to get rid of from the people. And we try to make the students of libraries and information science to, you know, what we call to challenge themselves, to try. I mean, we just not. I mean, yes, those days, yes, cataloging is the core of the library, right? But then as the days goes by, we go with the research kind of thing, support the research university and things. So why don't kita try to bring ourselves to move together with learning on yeah, I mean, make this something new, kita explore things, and then we try to belajar on doing the system and such, where I do believe this kind of, if you have this kind of willingness to learn, inshallah, it'll just give you something that benefit, not just for what you have been doing at that time, but of all your lifetime, inshallah. Yeah.
Okay, that I
That's
think.
all that I can answer you.
Thank you, Sister Anis. That is a
Uh.
fantastic suggestion. I think by designing our own system, it is a good thing that we need to do in order to, like you mentioned earlier, like to challenge ourselves, to challenge our programs at the department level, to challenge our kuliah achievement. Okay. All right. So I think that's 5 questions posted to the speakers. Thank you to both speakers for very comprehensive answers. Yes, Prof. Murni. Yes, Prof. Dr. Murni.
Sorry, I just have 2 questions. Is it allowed to ask questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I just have 2 questions. I think the first one relating to Koha just now is I try to be straightforward. What is the library IIUM library plan on supporting resource center from other at kuliah? Are they part of the Koha, or is it they have separate system? I think that's maybe relevant for Madam Suhaila. For Madam Anis, I think just now when she mentioned about the current function of the library, her advice to learn about the technology, I think that's brilliant. That's brilliant advice. But I would like to get also through her experience, what is the projections of the future of the library? So maybe at least if it's not international scenario, maybe we can bring you can share the local scenario or the IIUM scenario about how would the library's business or functionalities would change together with the future expectation. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Murni. So I think that's 2 questions which is need further attention from the speakers. So first question to Madam Suhaila. Okay, what is the planning, library planning in terms of the Koha system? Okay, Madam Suhaila.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Murni, for the question. Okay, so I would say that before we decided, before we start the migration from our library system to Koha, so we have started develop the Koha system at the resource centers at the kuliah. So we have developed resource center, KICT resource centers, Koha system, and we have also developed Kuliah of Economics resource center by using the Koha system, and also the Kuliah of Education resource center using the Koha system. So based on that experience we got from developing the resource centers for the kuliah, so we apply it to the Koha migration of the bigger scale, which involve the bibliographic, which involve, as I mentioned just now, is involve more than 500,000 bibliographic records. for the library system, for the library management system. So as to reflect of the planning, yes. Currently the system is separately from the resource centers and the library OPEX system is separate, and then we are also going to look into the future, just in case in future where maybe that can be combined together. Means that we can link the resource center catalog to the Dar Al-Hikmah library catalog, because when it using the same system, so we can see that the possibility is clear lah, is there. So but currently we have separate it from the library system, because we want to further look into the macam if there any problem that we can solve separately, because managing the bigger library scale is not as the same as the small library scale, like as the resource center. And then currently the resource center is only providing the bibliographic record to its users, and then most of the item is not open for loan, is only for the reference. So if let's say in future the resource center or the kuliah plans to merge it with the our library system or our OPEC Koha library. So so the resource center have to come out with the policy, with the something like the circulation policy, and then the user, the patron, they have to come out with the full scale of the Koha system, because right now the Koha system applied at the resource center is limited to the I could say that only mostly using the cataloging modules, and only some of the resource center is now embarked on the patron modules, and not yet go to the circulation modules of the Koha system. So for the future plan, yes, we can work together and discuss further on the possibilities.
Okay, thank you, Madam Suhaila, for such a good responses to the kuliah. Okay, so for the second question from Prof. Dr. Murni, what is the projection of the future for the library based on IUM scenario? This question posted to Sister Anis.
Okay, so thank you, Prof. Muni, for the questions. Lama kita tak catch up kan. So on the questions of the projections of the future of the library, how would I say? Some might have said that the library later on will be relevant to the users, since of everything that resources that we have here are all ease. So being asking about this kind of questions, for me as a librarian, I'll say that the library is still relevant to be used, especially in supporting to the research needs of the university and such. But what we need to do here is actually we have to cope with the technologies that goes by. Perhaps nowadays, perhaps that we are using a lot of printed materials. Later on, we might gonna change to we might gonna provide you a lot of online databases. And then I just think about what is actually, I mean, if you're asking about my opinion or my what they call expectations on this, I just really hope that the library will still be relevant to the user, because I do believe library is actually the center of the every university, yeah. Despite of whatever resources that we offer, printed or non-printed is or whatever it is, so it is still be relevant for the user to use. And it's just that the library needs to go along with the technologies that offers as days goes by. That is actually my answer.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Prof, sorry.
Thank you, Sister Anis and Prof. Murni. Okay, thank you again to both speakers for a very comprehensive and concise responses given. So I believe students are excited by now to at least plan for their career journey or career path. For the starting point, they need to plan for their industrial attachment. Maybe later they can join as a librarian or as a technology librarian at the Darul Hikmah IUM library if there is an opportunity for them to apply for the post. Okay, so the department and students are looking forward to have a stronger networking and actively engage with the IUM Darul Hikmah library in future, inshallah. Okay, I open the session to the students or to attendees. Okay, if anyone would like to ask questions to the speakers, you may unmute your microphones to interact directly to the speakers. Okay, you may do so. Okay, I have one question in the chat box. What are the advantages or disadvantages of open source software as opposed to proprietary software in terms of OPEC from your perspective? Okay, this is, I think this is intended to be answered by Madam Suhaila.
Okay, actually Sister Anis pun boleh jawab. Tak apa, let me answer first. Okay. Okay, advantages or disadvantages of open source software. Okay. So basically, advantage or disadvantage is we can, I would not say that is a disadvantage. Okay, I would say that is a challenge lah. Okay, the open source software or proprietary software is not the problem. I think the only challenge is how we develop it and macam mana kata as the experience of the Hikmah Library, we use Koha. Koha is a good system. Even though it is open source and then widely used, but we develop our Koha system in-house. Means that we at the same time with the limited IT personnel. So the challenge is how we manage to maintain the system, and also the challenge is we have to I mean that macam to always enhance our knowledge and our expertise in Koha, because once we develop this system on our own, everything related to the system will be referred to us. I mean, to us means that the library technical section lah, because of course, in terms of the function, we will cater all the technical or IT support of the library. So means that we have to make ourselves macam advance from others in the library in terms of technicalities of the system. So that is the challenge actually, because we do it on our own. It is different if we do it by using the vendor. So whereby if there is any problem happen, we can hire, we still have agreement with the vendor to solve the problem. Okay, that is the difference between in-house development and by a vendor development lah. In terms of open source or proprietary software, I think it's just the matter of money lah. Because if it is the open source, so you can save a lot of money. So if it is proprietary, of course you have to need at least for our experience, at least 200K RM per year to sustain the system. Okay. In terms of OPEC perspective, also the same thing, because in the Koha also, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of functionalities or I mean that the features that we have to explore. So in which I think we can improve more on our OPEC service in the future. And then if we keep track with the development of the Koha, recently they have released the latest version of Koha, which is Koha 22.05, if I'm not mistaken. So with the latest version, it can there will be always the new improvement into the system. So it is the matter of how we, the library, go together with the development. It means that how we sustain the system. So once we migrate from the previous proprietary system to the open source system, we have to think at least the system have to sustain at least 10 years forward. So that one, so how we plan or how we macam how we plan our library to sustain that system for at least 10 years in the future. That is the challenge lah.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest challenge, okay, for the library technology section to plan out on how to sustain a system for at least 10 years, 10 years ahead, right? So yes, if there is any question, there is no questions from the audience. Okay, thank you, Madam Sahila. Okay, if there is no questions for the speakers, I think let's end our sharing session today very soon. So any more questions? No, I think. Okay. So as the saying goes, to every beginning, there is an ending. So, and now the program has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing our program with your virtual presence. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the Department of Library and Information Science and the co-organizer, the Office of Responsible Research and Innovation, KICT. Okay, I would like to apologize if we have done any mistakes throughout the session. Again, I end my duty as a master of the program for today with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. All attendees are invited to wait for a photo session. You may switch on your camera so that I can capture our photo. Okay. Please switch on the camera. Okay. By now we only have three persons with the image. Okay. Wait. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Madam Suhaila. Thank you, Sister Anis. Thank you, Prof. Murni. Thank you, Dr. Leni, and all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you also,
Thank
Dr.
you very
Nursaada.
much.
Thank you very
KICT.
much.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. All right, bye, bye, Prof.